You know, I love a good freebie, so today I'm rocking my extremely large and in charge shirt from getting my booster shot. They gave you like this giant gift bag, and then it's just a lot of irony because like I have COVID now. But anyway, today's gonna be a very chill day. Look how my hair is holding up. Great. I'm actually gonna wash it out tonight. But you can see that the color like pretty much starts to fade over a couple days, and it's still like a nice color. Like I actually am really happy that it kind of goes from golden to brown or so. So I'm gonna take this out, but this was a really fantastic braid out. I mean, kudos to myself. I'm really proud of that. I did my workout, all that good stuff. Gonna vocalize, just kind of be ahead of it and try to be on it so that I'm actually feeling productive in this quarantine. I just got my new prints from Society 6. I am so excited. You guys know that when I got my last prints for the start of the place, I was very passionate about them and finding things that really like stood out to me. And so I decided to get a couple more now that I'm heading into year 2. So I got these 2 prints right here. You have to lay them flat because they come very much rolled up. And I got this one, which is like a nice little pop of color. And then I'm super excited about this one. Lincoln Center, but specifically that's the Metropolitan Opera, and that's where I've been performing. When I went to the Met Opera store, there was some beautiful artwork similar to this that I really wanted, but it was $250 and I cannot afford that. I did not get it, but I was looking for something similar, and I'm so glad I found it, and I can't wait to have that on my wall. We got this one, Ready, Set, Go. I never quite put them in like perfectly, but I think the one looks so good. I'm obsessed. And I don't think that this is the right one. I think it's too big. I don't want like a giant floating one by itself. I think I want a smaller white frame that would fit better. I just put this in a black frame that I had, and it like decently fits. Once quarantine is over, I'm gonna go to Michael's and return these 2 frames and hopefully find a smaller white one. So given that this side has to kind of stay as a self-tape wall from our auditions and stuff like that, there aren't too many spaces to hang photos. So I have this section, but I feel like the theater one, I don't think it really goes there, but I want to put maybe smaller ones over here. Also, I keep this little section clear sometimes because I do like a full body shot there. Complicated life. Over here, I feel like I'm actually fine with the simplicity. I don't think I would add like a photo of Lincoln Center right above my bed or anything like that. I think that's a little extra. That pretty much leaves here. And here, obviously, there's a Christmas tree there. And in general, that section is kind of the same as all of this is usually used for like self-tape world. Right under the clock is a good spot. You can see I broke this because it fell. That was a fail, but at least it still works. But I like that this color is kind of in here, so it kind of bleeds together. So there we go. Okay, so before we end the vlog, I feel like I should do an update since it's been a couple days now. I am out of quarantine. I'm out of it. It feels so great. So when I went back to City MD, and I actually was thinking maybe I don't want to go because the last time the guy was so condescending. But when I went this time, they actually took my vitals. Big shocker right there because that didn't happen last time. She asked me how I was feeling, like all the normal questions, asked when I first tested, etc. And then the doctor came in and basically she was like, okay, so I can give you the doctor's note. And I was like, well, when I work my other jobs, I'm gonna have to test a lot and I'm curious what's gonna happen because I know that I can test positive in the future. She's like, yeah, that will happen for up to 12 weeks. So I was like, oh, she's like, well, we can do a rapid test today and maybe that will help plead your case or help you so you could show them that you recently had like a test. So I was like, okay, let's do that. So I did the rapid and it came back negative, and I was like, all right, that makes me feel really good, because right after I had to go over to test for a job for the next day. And so I was just there and I was kind of like, oh, like I want to ask someone what the deal is. So I called my casting company and they were just like, it's kind of a gray area. They're like, if you test negative on a PCR, like these companies are just like, that's it. There's no, she's like, I can try to vouch for you to say that you recently had the situation and you have a doctor's note, all that, but it's usually kind of like a flat line, like here's what it is. So I was really nervous for that PCR, but it came back negative. I was like, okay. So I felt better about that. And I know there's just going to be like back and forth. Like I might, maybe today was good, but tomorrow might not be or whatever. I had another rapid since then and it came back negative, but I know that the rapids in general will come back negative because it's the PCR that can pick up what my doctor said, at least, is like dead, she said like dead cells of, the COVID and the SARS, whatever, like that kind of stuff in your body. Okay, this is like so crazy to hear the police. I was really worried to come back late last night because I didn't know what was going on. There was just a guy standing there and he had no mask. So I waited like across the street like a creepster, and I was like, I don't know what to do right now. Like, how do I get in the building if someone's like trying to break in? I don't know what's going on. But I saw another person go in and the guy that was there didn't do anything about it. So I quickly ran in after too, and he didn't do anything. I think he was just trying to stay warm. So I contacted my building or my super and I said, hey, like there's this guy here, like just so you know what the deal is with that. He's like, oh, if there's ever a situation, like just call the police. And I was like, no, it's not that serious. Like he clearly just wants to be warm. The next morning I went out, he was still there, and I was like, okay, he's clearly staying warm still. I saw on Twitter there's a thing called Code Blue, and it said that if you see someone that's homeless and they're outside in the frigid temperatures, like you should call 311 and report it. So I was like, oh great, I'm gonna do that. So when I came home tonight, I saw him again, and he doesn't bother, but it's a very confined space. So I called 311, and then when I called and got through, I was like, oh, I'd like to do the Code Blue. I want this gentleman to be able to go somewhere, and one of the shelters maybe, or somewhere warm, or a warming station. And they're like, great, I'll connect you to the police. And I was like, no, I don't want to call the police. Like, don't do that. Like, I just, I'm thinking about his safety and situations, and you know how the world is. They did connect me anyway. The woman was very nice on the phone. It didn't feel like a emergency situation or anything like that. So that's why I kept looking, because I heard the police sirens and I'm like, I want to just kind of like see what's going on, but I can't see. I hope it doesn't turn into anything. And that's just like my paranoia, I feel like, because I'm like so paranoid with like things that have like gone on in this world. I'm like, okay, like there better not be a situation of this, because I'm calling, on behalf of him, like as an advocate, not like a he did anything type thing, but you know how things can be. So that's why I'm like, what's going on? But anyway, I got out of quarantine. Like I said, life is good. I went right back to work, which is great. My tests have been negative so far, which is really great. I got my hair cut. That'll be a whole nother video. This is silk press for the first time. We cut a bunch of inches off, like 4, but stay tuned for that video. Oh, another thing, because now I'm working so much, tomorrow I'm working on the weekend, and I was supposed to have my last aligners appointment, which is where we'd figure out how I liked my clear liners and all of that, and get me set for a retainer, etc., all that stuff. But I had to cancel it because I have to work. I've had to cancel it like 3 times now because there's so many things, and so I'm like, will I ever finish my aligners journey? Yeah, I'm looking forward. Now the year feels like it's finally kicking off. I enjoyed my time in, but now it's it's good to get back to the real world. I hope you guys are having a really great week too. I hope the year's off to a good start. Thank you guys as always for watching, and I will see you in the next one.